from Christmas. How's everybody doing? Good?
Good, how about you, Dan?
Good. Good. Had a great Christmas. All our team is back. They got back on Monday night after being off for 3 days. And it's really, I think most of our guys expressed they had a really nice Christmas with their family and friends. So it was a good break for them. It's always tough when you come back from 3 days off. It's very rare in basketball that you take 3 full days off in a row. And we had a practice that night and then lifted after, and then yesterday we had a practice without tape, going through, reviewing a bunch of stuff offensively, another lift, and then a 2-hour practice in the afternoon. So today we're in a single practice as it's ready for our next game.
I think you mentioned after the Southern Miss game that this would be the gauntlet starting when they got back from Christmas. As you stand right now, how do you feel like where your team is right now?
Yeah, I think our team's getting better. I think we're improving as a team, from where we were starting out, and that's what you always want to be doing. You want to be continuing to improve as a group as well as individuals, and so that's the goal is to continue to improve and keep growing as a team. And so this will be our last test prior to SEC, and MKC beat us last year at their place. And we expect that they'll play a lot of zone. They're a pressing team. They get after you with their press and pick up full court. And, they've played some tough places. I mean, they started out the season barely in a losing effort at Creighton, who's top 10 in the country. So, they got some players to be able to put forth that type of effort.
You mentioned last year, late in the year, the team started playing better because the guys started to find their roles. You see that process starting to happen?
Yeah, I don't think it was just roles. I mean, I didn't say it was because they knew their roles necessarily, but we just got better. We got better defensively. I mean, you look at where Gavin was and his ability to guard ball screens last November versus, last February. It was a night and day thing. A lot of things. Just our ability to pass. I mean, we were such a poor passing team early on. So it's always about improving as a team and getting better and learning. And again, we have the youngest team in the country, so it's we have to be more physical. My biggest concern moving forward is look at our rebounding numbers. We're even or down one. On average, rebounding wise, that's not going to get it done moving forward against. And we're having to play small. Mario's playing a lot of all his minutes essentially at the 4 thus far, out of necessity, because that's our best lineup. Our most effective group having a chance is playing small, and I'd rather play big. And we need our bigs to continue to come along and improve, so we can play them more and get more production out of them.
I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but how is that duel done in practice so far?
Good. It's just hard because so many times we're preparing for games. So like today, we're going to spend a fair amount of time preparing for our opponent that we play tomorrow, UMKC. It makes no sense to have him in there learning how we're defending their stuff, or because he's not playing tomorrow. But when he's in there, he makes a huge difference in terms of the competitive level, because he's the one guy in our team that you can truly say is a banger. Every time the ball goes up, he's banging. He's our one guy, the only guy I can say in the entire team right now that I truly would refer to as a banger, which that's what you love as a coach from your bigs, bangers. Guys that are hitting people every time a shot goes up and creating space.
Going into SEC play, you talked about the rebounding, and it's not like you can make a late mid-season trade or anything. Due's not coming out, so how do you improve upon that rebounding with the kind of
emphasis? Just to keep emphasizing it and blocking out and getting everybody to rebound, all 5 guys, and doing a better job going to the glass. If I'm supposed to be one of the guys on offense that's supposed to rebound, not everybody rebounds on offense, because you have a certain grouping that have to worry about their role defensively on transition. But if I'm big, I'm rebounding everything. You got to go every time. And we watched 2 hours of film today of our last game this morning instead of practicing. So even though we were on the floor physically, we were trying to get better, learning and from a mentality standpoint, getting better with what's expected and what you have to do.
With 2 months in, are the freshmen where you thought they would be, behind, ahead?
Well, I never look at where I thought they would be. That's hard. That's a hard question. I mean, I'm excited about our players and think they're getting better, and excited about them continuing to improve. And you know, and we have flashes from everybody. The whole thing about being really good is to be consistent, and consistency is the key. And you know, having a great physical effort every time you step between those lines is the key.
How easy was it to plug Xavier into the lineup, considering he'd been here for a year and a half and probably knew most of the plays and stuff?
No, he really didn't know any of the plays, because until you go through them and you're actually doing them, which he had never done because he'd never been cleared to practice until December 1st or December 2nd. So he's been out there still less than a month. So just the opposite. It's been difficult because he doesn't know anything, and he's asked to play 2 positions. So we're asking a lot of him. So the way he's handled going in there, based on how little he's been out there and learned and knows, and basketball is a game of repetition. It's about doing it over and over and over again. You get better with repetition, whether that be shooting or how you're playing, ball screens or defending. It's all repetition. So for him, he's not even close to where he's going to be as a player. His whole key is just staying healthy. And I love the fact that he plays so hard. He gets exhausted out there because he's at a warp speed, which I love.
How did Xavier feel physically after his first game in a couple of years?
Well, you know what? I think Southern Miss, the second time he went in, you could see he got winded in that first half, and then he was fine second. He only played 11 minutes. The other night he played 15 minutes, which is what we're limited to right now, based on the doctor and the trainer, and we'll see how he progresses. Those 3 days off were good for him mentally too, but physically now he has to come back and get 3 days off is a lot. I mean, an NBA player never takes 3 days off in a row, ever. But it's good for us. I mean, we're not NBA players, we're college kids, and that break and it's family time, and such a long season. And now it begins, where we've got, for sure 20 more games minimally right now. I mean, we've played 11, and we want to keep playing better and improving.
I know Q's been a little sore and banged up after the game last week. How's he? Have you visited with him much since the break, and did he get a chance to kind of?
He's practiced well. He shot around once while he was home, but he took it easy pretty good. And this is the way he plays. He's going to get banged up, because I was really pleased how in the second half he attacked the rim and he shot Becky and getting to the line. That's what we need to do. We have to get to the foul line more, and that's one of our biggest weaknesses. We don't get to the foul line enough and shoot enough foul shots and score enough from the foul line. And partly because our post presence has got to improve, and we're playing with 2 freshmen and a sophomore in there, and one of them never played in post before.
Do you think you might be coming to a point in the season where you could play maybe Holman or Herard extended minutes together so you can get bigger like you
See,
said?
Eric struggles to play extended minutes, period. And that's an issue for us. I mean, he's maxed out at about 23, 24 minutes. He just gets tired out there, and that's something that he has an asthma component to it, and so there's something. But them playing together, it's all about matchups. And the one thing that Schneider's doing a good job of is rebounding per minutes played on the defensive glass. For him, like I'm showing him today, he was late to a lot of situations where he's able to plug or get there to block shots because he's always standing on defense rather than having knees bent. He's gotten away his whole life with just being bigger than everybody. Well, that's over now. Everybody's got size too. And so, he's learning. He's only played basketball for 4 years. And this is his 5th year of playing basketball. So, he has a higher ceiling because he played for, less than most kids going into high school. But he's still learning just basic stuff, like knees bent when you're on defense. And if you go back and watch and study film, he's standing, and every time you have to make a movement, quick movement, before you can do it, you have to bend your knees. So if your knees are already bent, then it really helps. And, you know, he has flashes, like he and EJ, you know, and I keep telling Schneider's the nicest kid. I mean, he's an incredibly nice young man. But like when you step between those lines, we gotta leave that nice guy outside the lines. And that's what I'm trying to impress upon him. Same thing with EJ.
For their guard, Lavelle Scottie, number 4, what does he do? Do they try to get him the ball off screens or whatever? How does he get his, 20 points?
They killed us last year with ball screens up there, where they're constantly screening on the ball, and they were attacking Gavin and really hurt us in that way from our defensive standpoint. So it's constantly ball screening, transition. He's a really good player. Half his attempts are threes. He's shooting 43, almost 44% from three. I mean, you know, he's a very good player. And he can drive it. You know, he's more of a shooter than, say, Moon was in the last game. And you know, that kind of player. So he's a tough matchup for us. And they're constantly looking to bring him off of different kinds of ball screens and then create off of that as he passes out of it if he doesn't shoot.
Any more questions?